Now we are going to be covering a wide range of topics here in today's video, but before we get into it, man, I have been seeing people making fake pages of me and trying to get y'all to go over to some Telegram chat. Listen, I do not have a Telegram. You'll never see me promoting a Telegram chat, all right? So don't get scammed. I'm not on Telegram. Don't get scammed in Telegram chats. Now starting out, we got EDD. All right, now this is a super, old, super outdated one, but listen, one thing y'all gotta understand is a lot of these plays will leave, but they come back, right? They always come back, right? So EDD is one of those ones that, it leaves, but it comes back, right? It's seasonal. Scammers hit EDD in wintertime. They can get people's information, right? Their SSN, social security number, tax returns or pay stubs, maybe a W-2 or maybe a bank receipt or a business record, right? And they can essentially use this information to file for unemployment and receive payments in your name. Even if you have a job, right? I've seen people been employed the past 4 years, right? You get a good job. Maybe you're a bank teller, you're making $22 an hour. You got full benefits. Someone can still file for unemployment in your name. So I just find that crazy, right? But that's why I always say you should keep your information super private, right? Always. Never share your information online too. That's another thing. A lot of people are so comfortable sharing their information online. So someone could file for unemployment, receive monthly payments in your name for disability or maybe a layoff, right? Whatever they decide to lie about. So be sure to keep your information safe, right? Next up, we got fake checks. Now, fake checks is a crazy one. Now, I'm not telling anyone to go out and do this.
I was cashing checks for like $8,000, $9,000, trying to stay under the $10,000. And so at one point, I get a check for like 29 grand, and I think, man, this is ridiculous. It's going to take another month. So I said, I'm going to start cashing larger checks. Give them the cashier's check that had been issued by the title company. Most of them were 8 or 9,000. One was 29. So I go in, I say, hey, my name's Scott Cugno. I need to cash this check. They go, well, that's odd. This is a cash transaction bank. You can give me that. Yeah, we do larger. Okay, let's talk to the manager. Manager comes out. He said, what's going on? I said, look, I need to cash the check. And he goes, okay. So he takes the check and my ID and my credit card and he leaves. And I remember Becky, the girl I was on the run with, she calls me up. She's calling, what are you doing? The guy's being a jerk. He's waiting. He's doing verifications and stuff. I don't know. I go, look, if the cops show up outside, call me.
Listen, it's all fraud and you can go to jail. So don't get any ideas. These are federal crimes. And they carry heavy consequences if you're caught dropping fake checks in someone's account or using an account, opening up an account with a fake identity, shit like that, right? It's all fraud. And you can definitely go to jail for it. So you just want to learn the information, obtain the information. That way you can be well informed and know what's going on. So don't be a dumbass out here, man, and think you can commit these crimes and get away with them. Listen, they're catching people all the time, right? So, and the scary part is, the feds, they'll sit back and watch you, right? They'll just sit back and watch you commit fraud for years and years and years, right? That way they can build an indictment around you and then, try to put you in prison for the rest of your life. So be careful, be thoughtful out here. Now, dropping fake checks, right? There's multiple ways that people, are creating fraudulent checks. They can make one using a template, editing software. They can steal one from the mail, right? There's a lot of mail services, a lot of mail carriers going around getting robbed nowadays, right? Because people are looking for checks. Then you have people who can get bank logs. Now, what is a bank log? Bank logs are, essentially login information to a banking account, right? Now, people can obtain these through credential stuffing, right? That's just one method. But there's plenty of other methods that people can use to obtain your banking login information. Then you also have, more sophisticated scammers who can get into corporation and organization accounts that have literally hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of dollars sitting in them. So you have people who are opening up banking accounts, right, with fake identities. And they're dropping fake checks in these accounts, overdrafting them as soon as it clears, before the bank even notices that it's a fraudulent check. Because one thing that you have to understand is that most of the time when you deposit a check into your account, it clears instantly. If it's a small check, right? But if it's a large check, it will partially clear instantly right then and there too. So a scammer can drop a fake check into a banking account for $10,000, right? Just for an example. Probably 50 to 75% of that check will clear right then and there, right? And they can go withdraw that before the bank even notices that it's a fraudulent check, right? Before the check even gets flagged within their system. Because another thing you have to understand is that some aspects of checks are federally regulated, right? Meaning that it takes 2 to 3 business days for it to clear. Other aspects of checks are all up to the financial institution in which it's being deposited into, right? So that can clear instantly. But it all really just depends on the 2 financial institutions that are, involved in the transaction. One thing you got to understand is there's a lot of people out here that have their own business, right? And they have people on payroll and they got to pay them with a check, right? So creating checks isn't inherently illegal. It's only once you start doing illegal things with these checks that you can face, legal repercussions. So with that being said, people are essentially able to buy checks, and they're essentially able to generate their own money. So basically you got people who are going around, finding people with banking accounts. Then you got other people who are going around finding people with checks. And what they'll do is they'll merge the two, right? So they'll tell the person, hey, I can make you some money. And they'll usually pull up on them in a nice car, right? And usually they'll scope the person out for a while, right? So they'll find somebody that works at a gas station or something, right? And they'll pull up on a nice car. They see the overall vision, right? They see how their life can progress and how they can, eventually be riding in a car like that. You give them the overall vision. You can basically just tell them how you could take up to the next level. You show them the vision, you show them the car, the lifestyle, right? And that's how people are basically falling for this scam. But it's not even really a scam because they are getting money. These scammers are using their banking accounts to essentially scam the banks. And they're paying these people that are letting them use their account. So they can tell them, we could drop this fake check in your account, and once we withdraw, we could just basically split the money, and afterwards you just report it and get the money back from your financial institution. That way you never take a loss. Initially hearing this, especially when you're broke, and down on your luck, it's very easy to fall for something like this. It's very easy to get wrapped up in something like this. So when people are working these, 9-to-5 jobs where they're only getting paid $15 an hour, only going home with not even $1,000 a week, it's very easy for them to get wrapped up in things like this. Is basically what I'm trying to say. It's very easy for them to, see the lifestyle, see the overall vision, and, they see how their life can progress like that, and they want to start, committing check fraud too. So that is how scammers, get into people's heads. So, they can get them to do what they want them to do. But yeah, man, that is how people are profiting from fake checks. And, you even have people who are doing this with no help from anyone else at all. You literally have people who are sitting in their penthouse on a laptop making $100,000 a month. And what they're doing is they are stealing identities. That way they can go open up a bank account, drop fake checks in the bank account through, the check deposit feature. A lot of banking account apps offer check deposit features, right? So that way you could deposit the check right there through the app. You don't got to go to an ATM. You don't got to go to an institution. So that's the crazy part. This all can be done online. The scammers never have to show their face. So to open up this banking account, right? First, they'll steal the identity. Then open up the banking account with the stolen identity, drop the fake check in the account, and then Zelle themselves the money. They're just sitting in their penthouse, sending themselves Zelle payments all day, which obviously is going to leave, a huge paper trail right back to the scammer. So what they'll do is they'll incorporate a few other methods to, wipe the paper trail completely clean. So that is what people are doing to commit check fraud, right? And another thing too, the full amount of the check is not going to clear, right? Only a percentage will clear before the check gets flagged by the financial institution. So what people are doing is they're using a mixture of isopropyl alcohol and acetone. And what this mixture does is it can essentially erase ink from paper, right? You can take ink off paper very easily. So after stealing a check, they will use this method. The scammer can use this method to get ink off the check. That way they can then add in their own custom amount, their own information, their own details, and hit for a little more than what was initially written out. Now, as far as sending yourself Zelle payments all day, right, which is super dumb because it leaves a massive paper trail. But this is literally what people have done in the past. You're better off just hitting the ATMs. You're better off waiting for the check to clear, hitting ATMs. But these are basically, just little ways, little methods that people are using to finesse, get over on these systems, get over on these financial institutions. They're fucking the banks over, right? That's really the only people who are losing in these situations, right? Because the person who owns the bank account, they're getting the money back, plus they're getting paid from the scammer for being able to use their account to hit for these fake checks. So they're profiting, they're eating, scammers eating. The only person that's losing is the financial institutions. But like I said, man, these are methods, these are ways people are finessing out here, getting over on these banks. And these are also, ways people are getting indicted, they're getting caught up. It's very easy to get caught when doing these scams. It's very easy to get caught. It's hard to get away with it. That's one thing you got to understand, because one slip up is all it takes to get caught. So you got to understand that too. So I don't recommend scamming. It is bad. It's very bad. You can definitely go to jail for it.